Hey, it's Vanessa. Are you ready to make a freezer meal or two or three? So I'm going to actually be lumping three recipes together because a lot of the ingredients are kind of the same. And you know what? Just make it all move at the same time, right? So I'm going to try really hard to keep it straight. Today I'm going to make the pizza penne with chicken sausage and peppers. I also have the rush hour fajitas and the teriyaki chicken with broccoli and rice, okay? So the important thing is always make sure that you label your bags, right? So that's gonna keep me organized right now because I'm gonna be labeling them and filling them separately. Plus, have you ever had mystery food in your freezer and you're like, oh my word, what is that? It has happened to me more times than I can imagine, okay? So I'm gonna put these here right in front of me so I can see what's going on and I can fill them. Hopefully I have them close enough to my recipes that I'm following so we don't have any weird like combinations, right? Okay, so the first thing that I have going on is the skillet is being heated up for the chicken sausage, okay? So I'm gonna heat that up so that can go in and cook as it is going. And that's really the only thing that I'm gonna cook. So it calls for the pasta and for the rice to be cooked as well. I'm gonna be honest with you, I have like zero room in my freezer right now. So those are things that don't take very long to cook at all. The rice is, like 10 minutes, and the pasta itself is going to be like 14. I always do that in the microwave. So those are items that can be done in a flash at any time and it won't be a big deal, okay? So if you are pinched on space, there are some teeny things that you can do. But do remember to like either put a copy of this somewhere or put a note on your bag that says what it's missing and what you're gonna need to do later, okay? So there are alterations that you can make for those to make it work for your freezer and your family and however works best for you, okay? So what we're going to do, start off with first, is we are going to prep the vegetables. So the pizza penne, the pizza penne and the rush hour fajitas, they're both going to need bell peppers and onions. So I'm going to get started here with the onions. We're going to put one in each of those bags. So I've got those here. So, and I have my discard thing right here with my prep station. This is great, so I can just kind of zip along if that wants to come down. There we go. Snip, snip, snip. So I do love having these, and one of the great things is if you want to just make a meal for like tonight or tomorrow while you're prepping them up, you totally can, especially if you don't have freezer space. So I love doing the freezer meals. Because when you're getting your groceries, you already have your list, and that's essentially all that you need to buy. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm grocery shopping, I buy more than I need to, and then it goes bad. This, you're prepping right away, you're going to use it all up, so you don't have to worry about that. That gives me such a fantastic feeling. And it's great knowing I don't really need to spend much on groceries, because I already have it all done, right? So there we go. I like getting these prepped ahead. These make great gifts too. So like if you know somebody who maybe had a baby or who's having a hard time, you can bless them with a meal. Or if you just want to be a good friend sometime, right? Who wouldn't want a nice home cooked meal? So let me just pull this skin off here. I'm probably gonna have to go wash my hands quick. Now I have all these like onion oils on my hands. Okay, let me clean those off. Okay, so the hardest part is done getting that off, right? So we're just gonna slice these. I am definitely not a professional at slicing. You're supposed to do like the claw grip and stuff. I don't do that. So thankfully I have not gotten hurt. All right, so we're just gonna slice these in half. They don't have to be crazy small or anything because I don't know if I have mentioned it to you before, but I almost always use the salad choppers when they come out so I can just snip everything up. So I'm not real concerned right now about getting things too small, okay? So I'm just going to put this in with the fajitas. Just have them small enough And when they're all cooked, we'll slice them down further. Or you can just leave them big, doesn't matter. Okay, so this one's gonna be for the penne chicken, sausage, and peppers. I don't remember ever really buying chicken sausage before. So I picked out a different flavored one. I think it's filled with kale. Yeah, sweet Italian chicken sausage with kale. So I thought that sounded yummy with having that, all the other flavors that were going in. But it looked like there were some different options at the grocery store. So have fun with that. Or if you're a plain Jane, do that too, okay? So I'm just going to snip this one down just a teeny bit further. Not a big deal. This is the chef's knife. This is a great knife to have in your kitchen. It can handle everything. As you can see, we're going to use this for all of our ingredients today. It works fantastic with our close and cut, like you'll see. So just get this smaller. Okay. Nice thing about onions is you can cut all the different ways. There we go. Good to go. So I'm actually going to kind of try to push this down here. Oops, just had a jumper. I love this Prep and Store system. I'm going to just push this underneath here. Hopefully it'll work. I have many of them in use right now, so I can't use them. I'm just going to kind of push it back and just slide this stuff right inside there. Hopefully I won't make a mess. I'm slightly concerned about that. Prop that on that side. But this is so handy because you can literally just prep and then push it right inside here. Dropping some of them on the floor. I'm hoping my dog doesn't get them. He's gonna have gross onion breath and hopefully they're not bad for him, okay? But I think he's being camera shy today. We don't have to worry about him. So just push these over here. Shove it on down, and then we're gonna get started on the peppers. So once you get the onions out of the way, you're fine. So I chose to do the chicken all at once at the end because that way we can keep using the same stuff over and over and then get to the messy stuff at the end. Okay, so we've got that all ready to go. Let me pick up that piece of onion. We'll throw this to the side. Deal with that later. It's chicken sausage, so I'm just gonna open up quick. Woo! Those onions, I'm telling you what. They call it that chicken sausage with the peppers calls for 4. There are 5 links of sausage here. Always just get what your family's gonna eat. We like to have leftovers, and I don't like to waste food, so we're just gonna eat what we've got there, okay? So just throw that off to the side, let that do its thing, and we'll move on to the peppers. So our peppers here, we're just gonna, which one is this for? This is going to be for the rush hour fajitas. This one takes 2 medium peppers. So we're just going to snip that off. I have my scoop loop somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. I did not get it out on the flanks ready to go. Nope. Guess I'll have to use my hand today. So if you have your scoop loop handy, which I don't, you can just dig in there and scoop all of it out. Or we're just going to go old school, okay? So let me just pull all of that out. Okay. There we go. Gonna take off the lid. We'll just save those onions for another time. Meaning I'm going to push them into the thing just as soon as I'm done with these. Okay. Same thing with this one. That one was easy to clean out. And we're just going to zip these apart with the quick slice. So let me cut these up too, because we'll just bop right, 3 of them in one recipe, 2 of them in the other. So we'll take the tops off of these. Have 1 more. These are peppers from our garden. So maybe not quite as beautiful as what you would get at the store, but they were free and homegrown. So who doesn't like that, right? So let me pull these apart. Again, I'm not going to slice anything down crazy small, just because don't have to. Work smarter, not harder, right? So this one has like a weird spot on the bottom. I'm going to cut that off. So use all of the rest of it, but that weird part. Okay, that one didn't have very many seeds at all. Let's wash my hands off. Chicken sausage is doing good. So where did there it is. So here we've got our quick slice. This is a breeze to deal with. Okay, so it's got the base and the top here. So basically what we're gonna do, let me keep my peppers separated here. All right, which one gets 3? The penne recipe gets 3. So you just put it right down here on the base, and then you're just gonna rock the wedge. Whoop. Watch, it's gonna be a stinker today. And I want a slippery surface. Let me just take it over here. I didn't even think about the slippery surface when I started. Okay, so there, I just rocked the wedge, took it all the way down, and look how easy that is. So these are all stripped up. I'm gonna take out this funky one. I won't use that. There we go. That piece is funky. Pull that off. Didn't go all the way through. I'm gonna have to get rid of the prep and store system here and just work right on the countertop. So these should have gone straight through. I'm not sure why they didn't. Maybe it was just being a little weird. So I'll take these off, throw them in the bag. On to the next one. So there's the lid. Look how easy that is. Pops right off. Dump it right inside there. Next, you can breeze real quick through these. Much better than using your knife, right? Grab and dump. So if you prefer to snip them in half before you throw them in the bag, totally can. Like you can see, I'm not even worried about it. So because these are like fattening down, that's the weirdness. So I am just gonna snip this in half. There we go. Just so when it goes in here, it's gonna be a little bit easier. It'll stay in place. There we go. That worked better. So just throw that in. Doesn't have to be beautiful. Just get it in there to do its job, right? Same thing with this one. Let's go that way. You can do lots and lots of things with this. You can slice, obviously, your veggies like I'm doing. You can do bologna, cheese. This is like the egg slicer plus on steroids. You can use it for hard-boiled eggs, bananas, mushrooms, strawberries. My goodness, the list goes on and on and on. So let me take out, I never took this one out. Okay. So you can use whatever color peppers you like. I wanted to use a mixture of the red and green for color. I like to have visual appeal with my food, right? Okay. I think I got all those out. Pop it in here. Whoop, that one went nice and easy. The smaller, the easier. Okay, so we've got those all in there for the chicken and peppers. Now we're on, oops, missed the top. And I almost let the stem go through. So let me take the stem out here. Slice this one down. And then the rest are going to be for the rush hour chicken fajitas. They are delightful. You can make this recipe right in the microwave, which is normally how I do it. Takes no time at all. So follow the directions that are at the bottom of the recipe, or for the everyday or the Dutch oven raw crock, where it's fantastic for these rush hour chicken fajitas. Takes about 15-20 minutes, just depending on how much chicken you have in there. In the microwave, you can't get any easier than that. Or you can elect to do it in the slow cooker stand. Okay, so all of those are done. No time at all. Let me give these a flip here. My tongs are acting silly. Let's see what's happening here. So just pre-cooking this sausage. Woo! Let these go too long. That's what happens when you're talking, right? So I'm just going to pre-cook them a little bit, and then we're going to turn them off. All right? So let's see what else. The rush hour chicken fajitas are kind of easy to finish up now. So we're going to get this out of the way first, I believe. Okay, we'll get that out of the way. Now what we're going to do is get our garlic. We're going to throw that in. I think we have some that goes in both of that. Let me just turn this off. I'm just a little bit nervous about it burning. Whoop, wrong light. There we go. Yeah, I let that go a little bit too long, but it'll be okay. It's only brown on one spot. So we'll just let that happen. So now what we're going to do is do some garlic. I believe I need to have 2 garlic cloves in each of those 2 recipes. Okay, so this is the new garlic prep system. This is fantastic if you haven't seen this. If you've seen my videos before, you know that I love the garlic press. Well, this has so many different options with it now. So it has a thing where you can dice. Also has one where, I think it's not strong. There you can slice. I don't know if you can see that there. And you can also mash. So 3 different options that you can do with that. So what we're going to start with first, and you can read up on which one to choose other than just looks and fanciness if you've got a specific recipe that's going on, okay? So you're going to get different flavors from your garlic depending on how big it is and how it's prepared. So when you're buying your garlic, you want to buy it like men's underwear, white and tight on the outside. Sometimes you just don't have a choice because you have to take what the store has or you have to walk away. So let me just snip off this top. It's being a stinker. There we go. So we're just going to use about 2 cloves from each. So I can't even get this open right now. My fingers aren't working. Let me see if I can pluck it back without hurting myself or causing you trauma from being a witness. We don't need any of that, all right? So here's a really big one. Here's another really big one. Actually, they're all really big here, but you know what? You measure cheese, chocolate, and garlic with your heart. So that's what we're gonna do today. So this says 2, and we have some humongo ones. We're gonna do it anyway, right? So just keep putting our stuff in the discard pile there. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to peel it. I am so used to the garlic press where you don't have to peel that I was just gonna bypass that. So this actually comes with a peeler now. So it fits right inside there. Just roll, roll, roll. Did you hear that sound? It's like the skin popping off. And it rips all of it off. Like maybe you'll have a couple stragglers here. My word, my eyes are terrible. So pull off the straggler skins if there are any. And then you just put it right in here. So we'll do slice. Okay, just stick it right inside there and push. And it goes down into that little container. No worries there. So keeps everything contained. So if you're not ready to put it in your recipe, no worries. So we'll just give this one another turn. This is satisfying when you hear the skin come off. All right, so you can see that one popped off real nice and easy. So we'll put that in there too. Boop. Okay, so this one's ready to go into one of them. Doesn't matter because they are both the same. So check that out. Easy peasy, right? Just dump that right inside our recipe. Next 2. Okay, we'll give them a de-skinning. All right, not quite. Should have listened for the sound. There's the sound. When you hear the sound breaking off, you know you're in for a treat. Okay, and the last one. The only thing I wish our last garlic peeler was a little bit longer, but I see why they wanted everything to kind of fit compact inside there. Okay, so we got all the skin off here. Just put that into our discard. And these are going to go into our other recipe. So are you keeping everything separate so far? Just pump and okay. It really is easier if you've got the same ingredients going on, just to kind of do everything at once. All right, so we have that. So let me finish up these fajitas and then I'm going to go with the rest of the stuff, okay? So we're all done with the garlic. We're not going to worry about that anymore. So the Rush Hour fajitas I've got right here. Now we need 2 tablespoons of the chipotle rub. So I've got that right here. Remember, you can just measure right inside the lid. Go to the bottom of the 2 threads. And we're just going to put about 2 tablespoons. That's about 1 tablespoon each. Just dump that right inside here. And we're actually going to grate the cheese later. So this is essentially all ready, all except for the chicken. So we will do that momentarily. The cheese, you can always wait and just do that another time too. It's not a big deal. because as long as you have everything else out there, I don't know about you, but I pre-shred all of my cheese all at once, all the time anyway. So it's just in the fridge, ready to be grabbing out. It's so much better when you're grating your own cheese. It's going to be fresher, it's going to melt better, and it's going to be cheaper, okay? So just watch how easy it is for me to do this. You're going to be like, oh my word, why am I not doing that if I'm not already? Okay, so the rush hour fajitas, I'm going to just put this behind because we're pretty much done with this one. And I'm going to turn my attention here to the pizza penne with the peppers and stuff. This calls for 2 to 4 tablespoons of everything but the pizza. So we've got that here. Let me just make sure that's broken up. I love the seasonings. I use them all the time. This one's a little bit chunky. Just pour some in there and let me put the lid back on. Okay. All right. Put a little bit more in there. So there's about 2 tablespoons, maybe a smidge more than that. I don't have any of the dried oregano, so I'm just going to use some of the Italian seasoning. That only called for about half a teaspoon, so maybe I should just sprinkle some in there. So whatever things that you have in there, just to kind of give it an extra flavoring for that. And then it calls for some tomato sauce. So we've got, I'm not sure how much I'm going to need of this. I think I'm going to put both of them in, but these are small little 8-ounce things of tomato sauce. So we'll just turn, open this up. And then this one's going to be essentially done too. We'll just need to add the penne right before eating. So again, how I make mine is in the rock crock in the microwave. And guys, if you've never done pasta in the microwave before, it's going to rock your world. Because all I do is I add 1 box of pasta, 1 box of chicken broth, put it in either the deep covered baker or in the Dutch oven rock crock, throw it in the microwave 7 minutes, take it out, fluff it up with like your tongs or whatever, put it in for another 7 minutes, and voila, it's done. It's actually going to soak up the broth, and it's going to give it a nice flavor. You're going to be like, oh my word, why have I been boiling water all this time? Okay, so again, very, very simple. You don't even need to pay attention. And if you've got kids at home who can do that, it's no big deal, okay? So this is just going to be a trick too. Let me see why it's acting like that. All right. Okay, there's the lids off. Discard that. Pour it in here. So you can either use 1 or 2. I'm going to use 2. Alright, just put that right inside there. Or you can use regular like spaghetti sauce. Whatever makes you happy. Whatever you have on hand, okay? So I'll throw that in there. So this one is pretty much done too. So you can have Parmesan, or I'm sorry, yeah, Parmesan cheese or mozzarella ready to go for later. And then that is it. So this bag is essentially ready too. Now we are going to pull out our chicken things. Let me get this out of the way. So much easier when you can just keep moving down through the process, right? Okay. So now we're going to turn our attention to the chicken sausage that I have back here, and also for getting the rest of the chicken ready to go, okay? So our last recipe is the teriyaki chicken and broccoli. So I've got my bag of broccoli here, guys. Use whatever you need, like whatever your family normally eats. That's how I usually judge like the amount of ingredients that go into a meal, because we like to have leftovers. So I like to make sure that those are added in, okay? So I'm just going to snip that top right off. I'm going to take these pieces of chicken sausage and we're going to slice them up, okay? So these are not completely cooked. I'm not even worried about it. You can see one side kind of got it. It's going to cook when we're cooking it anyway, right? I just like to make sure my sausage is cooked. So we'll just do that. give them a nice slice. I don't touch meat that is raw with my hands. I'm always using tongs. So this keeps it real nice and easy. You can see it's a little bit raw in the center. It's gonna cook right up, okay? So I thought this looked really nice with the kale inside. Give it a little extra yummy flavor. It smells delicious. They had some with feta, some that were chicken or apple flavored. I definitely would not have chosen that one, okay? Not for this recipe at least. So I'll throw them in there. I love these freezer meals because they give your family some new options and things to try. You never get stuck in that rut. You're like, oh, what do you want to eat? And you're recycling the same like 5 or 7 recipes. This is great because it kind of gets you out of your box and you might like something new. Or maybe you are a foodie and you always like to try things that are new. Okay, so that is all done. So they are in here. Oh my gosh, did I put the wrong one in there? I totally did. This goes in the penne. My word. This goes in the last one. I wondered why I was throwing it in there. So we'll throw that right inside with the pasta sauce and everything else. That is the one thing. You totally have to keep things straight in your mind. That's a trick for me sometimes. So here's this recipe is completely done now. So this is the one that'll get the penne with it that we'll cook later. I would do it right now, but like I said, I seriously don't have any room in my freezer, so we do have to be cognizant of that. Okay, so let me just take the air out of here so we can flatten it. Some people like to store them like this in the freezer, you know, so that way they definitely fit right inside the crock pot. I don't like to do that. I like it to be nice and thin, flat, so that we can lay it right in there and it's going to freeze and be easy. Okay, so we'll just lay it flat right like that. Good, good, good. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the teriyaki chicken with broccoli. Okay, so this one, oh good, I do have them labeled correctly. Whew. I was a nervous wreck there. So now we're going to put our broccoli in here. I am not going directly with the recipe because I figure it doesn't matter how you have this in here. It's all going to the same place. We're just going to dump it into a crock pot and turn it on. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one you put on top. I mean, sure, you probably could have the chicken on the bottom and make sure that it's evenly coated and stuff. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Okay, so I'm just doing this. We've got our broccoli right inside there, and I prefer keeping it all in the same bag, but sometimes it doesn't fit. That's okay too. Just kind of dump in everything in the morning as it is. Just make sure that you have it written on the board. Dump in a bag of broccoli. It's totally fine. Okay, so I'm not going to cook the rice today either, just because of the sake of space. Plus, it barely takes up any time to do that anyhow. Okay, so what else goes in here? The teriyaki and honey sauce I'm going to use in just a minute. So now we're going to pull out our chicken. So I like to do all of my chicken recipes all at the same time because sometimes it's annoying to be pulling the chicken out and preparing it and doing all of that stuff, okay? So always, 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 if you are not doing it yet, buy your chicken in bulk. You're going to be saving money because it's just cheaper usually anyway. I about died when I saw the price of this. I'm really hoping the price of chicken comes back down, but what can you do, right? So each of these recipes calls for about 1.5 pounds of chicken. I usually just eyeball it just to see what we've got here and how many meals how many we normally would have for my family. Okay, so if your family normally would eat like 3 of those, put 3 of them in. So there are 5 chicken breasts that came with this one. So I'm gonna put 2.5 of them in each of these bags. Okay, so let me just put this down here again. I'm going to be using my tongs because I don't do anything by my hands. So this is our closing cut. Absolute favorite thing. You absolutely have to have one of these if you are preparing chicken. Okay, it's spring loaded in the top and the bottom. So when you put things in here like cherry tomatoes or grapes or bagels or the chicken that we're doing today, you can slice it in half. This is like one of my pure pressure products. Okay, so I'm just going to grab one here. So if you go to a chicken sale where they're like as big as your head, you can do this too. Okay, so we're just going to kind of jam it right inside there. And make sure that you have a knife that's 7 inches long or longer. It comes in a set, so we're gonna give you one anyhow, right with it. Just hold this down, just slice. The tip should be sticking out the other side the whole time you're doing it. And check this out. Can't work. Where are we at here? Slices it right in half. So we're just gonna dump that right into this teriyaki chicken one. So when you slice your chicken in half, they're going to freeze faster, thaw faster, cook faster, more evenly. Plus, you know when you get these big ones, first of all, they don't cook evenly. And you like have the outside that's crusty and the inside that's raw, and you're like, ah, salmonella. We don't need any of that, right? So we're just gonna do all of this. So even when I'm not doing freezer meals, I always slice my chicken breasts up like this, just because I'm gonna be prepared for later. And then here is another tip. Sometimes I actually do throw the ingredients for a freezer meal on top of the chicken after it's already been frozen. You can totally do that too. Some people might tell you not, we have not died yet, okay? So I've got that in there. I'm gonna start adding it to the fajita bag. So I already did 2 chicken breasts in the first one. I'm gonna do the balance of them in this one. And that is pretty much it. We're like flying through these. So if you take like a day or even 2 to make up a bunch of recipes, depending on how much energy you have, because let's face it, or you can work around the sales that they're having at the store and make a bunch of them up, and then you're gonna be like, oh my word, I'm so prepared. I'm ready for anything I can take on the week, right? All right, so slice this one up. Okay. Dump that on in there. Okay, let me just make sure I've got everything. Okay, so the teriyaki chicken with broccoli and rice, we're missing the most important ingredient, and that is the teriyaki sauce with honey. Okay, so I don't believe that we're gonna use the whole bag, the whole bottle of this. I hope not, because I'd like to get another meal out of it. Smells delightful, okay? So this is also a great recipe that you can throw in the multi-cooker, in our quick cooker / pressure cooker, whatever you want to call it, okay? This is a great one. You can throw it all inside there. So I just poured about half of the bottle, maybe a third, I'm not really sure. Just poured it right inside here. I'm gonna zip it up. The only thing this one is missing is the rice. You could also put it on noodles if you decide to do that. You know, change it up a little bit. It keeps it fresh and new for you. So we're just gonna kind of massage it along. It's always such a weird description, right? But it's totally what it is. We'll just kind of push it right like that. Make sure the flavor's all around it. And if it's not enough after it's cooked, feel free to add more on, but I'd rather save some and be able to make a second recipe than use it all at once and then be sad, right? Okay, so this recipe is all done then. And then our rush hour fajitas, let me just take one more glance at that, just because I've been popping around. So the last thing that we need to do with this is the cheddar cheese. So this essentially is all done. So zip this one up too. I'm not going to put the cheese in it, but I'm going to show you just how easy peasy it is. So we'll do this. Guys, always make sure, ah! Oh my gosh, I totally have to touch these with my hands now. Chicken just like shot across my, I have to go wash my hands with soap. Ugh. I didn't see that one coming. Okay, let's try to zip this up again before I turn it over and it spills on my countertop. Gross. Okay, and I just got finished telling you I don't touch any chicken with my hands, and I just did. Okay, now it's totally sealed. I feel safe about this. If you are not feeling secure that your thing is safe, feel free to double bag, just so you don't have to worry about an accident. Okay, so that one is all ready. It looks beautiful. And now we're just gonna do the cheese and we'll be done. Let me get this out of the way. Work once, clean later, right? Okay, so pull this thing over here. It suctions great, so great. Sometimes I can't get it off of the stove. All right, so we'll put it right inside there. This comes with, this is the multi-grater. This comes with 3 different blades. So it comes with a fine grater that you would use for like your hard cheeses. Comes with a slicer if you're going to do cabbage or something. And then it comes with the one that we're going to use, which is the coarse grater today. So I'm just going to kind of stick it in the hole here and just start turning the wheel, handle, whatever you want to call this. I'm going to keep a hold of, there we go. I got a hold of it on the inside, just making sure that it's getting tight. I'm going to move those blades because I don't want to slice open my knuckles, okay? That's a real showstopper. All right, I got my big block of cheese here. These actually have been pretty cheap and reasonable, so it is so much cheaper than buying those pre-shredded bags. Plus, like I said, it's going to melt better, and it's going to taste better, and you're going to be like, oh my word, why haven't I been doing this all along? So, let me grab another cutting mat real quick. I lied. I said I was going to use the same knife for all of it, and I didn't. Okay. Had to grab a new one because I just touched all that chicken. We're not going to cross-contaminate that, right? So let me just tear that off. I'm going to slice this in half here, just because it won't fit otherwise. We're going to stick it right... Oops. I already took the inside out. Okay, so we'll give this a turn here, and watch how quick and easy this big block goes away. So when you're doing it like this, just get a few blocks and do them all at once. You can freeze some of them. I just like how simple it is. Now I have some big ones that go through there. You can stick them through again if you want. Sometimes I like to eat those. Alright, so we'll just go through right again. But you can if you're not trusting your family to keep out of the cheese, you can put it in the freezer bag. Put it in a smaller freezer bag, like a quart size, and then put both of those freezer bags together inside a third bag, okay? That way everything is separated. The cheese won't get lost or separated from the rest of the recipe in the freezer, and you're gonna be fine. So I do have some here that are big pieces. We're gonna just send these through again. They like catch the edge or something. They don't always go through where they're supposed to. Let me see here. Just zip down one more time. Or like I said, you can eat them, because who doesn't love cheese? It was one of my things, you measure with your heart, right? And that is it. We just cut up all of that cheese in record time, and we just got 3 meals done in about a little over half an hour. So, whew, now we can rest, totally ready for the week. And I can't wait to share some more with you at another time, okay? We'll catch you later. Happy eating and happy meal prep. Bye.